Welcome to Eastern and Western Classical Wisdom Essence, where ancient knowledge meets modern curiosity. We explore timeless wisdom from both Eastern and Western philosophies, history, and cultural traditions, bringing you insightful discussions and fascinating discoveries. Join us as we unlock the secrets of the past to inspire the present and shape the future.
Western art history, rational and clear neoclassicism. The term classicism conveys meanings of tradition and exemplary standards, typically associated with the aesthetic ideals of ancient Greek and Roman art. While it first appeared in literary contexts, its application to the visual arts only emerged after the 17th century, when academic circles came to view Greco-Roman art as the enduring model for future generations. The Renaissance, for instance, drew inspiration from classical antiquity and marked the transition from the artistic gnaw of the Middle Ages to a cultural and creative apex. Thus, classic and neoclassic styles both embody artistic and philosophical ideals shaped by ancient Greek and Roman literature, visual arts, and architecture. These styles strive toward perfection and timelessness, characterized by clarity, order, and rational structure. They favor formal simplicity, symmetry, and proportion, while espousing values of dignity, nobility, restraint, and serenity. But what is neoclassicism? Emerging in mid-8th century Rome, this movement quickly influenced numerous fields: painting, sculpture, architecture, literature, theater, music, and extended even to pottery, furniture, textiles, and decorative arts. Its rise was propelled by a constellation of factors: the rediscovery of ancient cities like Pompeii, the aesthetic philosophies of Johann Winckelmann, the transmission of classical ideals through academic institutions, and later, the fervent patronage of Napoleon. Background: the emergence of neoclassicism. 1. The rediscovery of ancient cities and the surge in antiquarian interest. The mid-18th century witnessed the remarkable excavation of two ancient Roman cities, Herculaneum and Pompeii, which catalyzed an unprecedented fascination with the classical past. Pompeii, situated southeast of Naples, between the Bay of Naples and Mount Vesuvius, was originally developed by the Phoenicians in the 8th century BCE. By the 7th century BCE, the Greeks had established control, later integrating the city into Rome's network of dependent territories. In 87 BCE, it became an autonomous Roman city. With a thriving population of around 20,000, a devastating earthquake struck in 63 CE, and just as recovery was underway, Mount Vesuvius violently erupted on August 24, 79 CE. Ash, pumice, and molten debris overwhelmed the city, entombing it under meters of volcanic material and silencing its vibrant streets in an instant. For centuries, Pompeii lay forgotten beneath layers of ash and stone. Though ancient Roman texts alluded to its existence, its physical location remained elusive. In 1599, architect Domenico Fontana accidentally uncovered ruins while digging a canal. Over the next century, more artifacts came to light: coins, fresco fragments, and statuary. The nearby city of Herculaneum was unearthed in 1738. Then, in 1748, a stone inscribed with Pompeii confirmed the ancient city's identity, prompting sustained archaeological efforts that continued until 1860. Through this systematic work, Pompeii re-emerged into the light. The city spans 1.8 square kilometers, ringed by a 4.8-kilometer wall, punctuated by 7 gates. Excavated artifacts reveal the profound influence of Hellenistic culture, evident in both architecture and wall paintings. These frescoes document not only the artistic sophistication of the Roman era, but also the social realities: luxury, indulgence, and moral looseness that characterized Pompeii's final days. Unlike cities that decline gradually, Pompeii's sudden destruction preserved a vivid tableau of Roman life. Everyday objects, vibrant artworks, and even the desperate moments of those who tried to flee. The haunting immediacy of these discoveries has often been interpreted as a moral warning from antiquity. Pompeii, fresco portrait of Proculus and his wife. 1st century CE, National Archaeological Museum of Naples, Italy. As the monuments of Herculaneum and Pompeii were excavated, authentic antiquities were unearthed one after another, drawing scholars from across Europe to Italy, where they documented their findings in scholarly publications. In the 1750s, as many European nations grew disillusioned with the Rococo style's excessive ornamentation, indulgence, and sweetness, the simplicity and rationality of ancient art regained favor. A widespread wave of imitation followed, especially evident in handicrafts and painting, where echoes of classical antiquity appeared everywhere. One of the most influential voices was German scholar Johann Joachim Winckelmann. His thoughts on the imitation of Greek works in painting and sculpture extolled the noble simplicity and quiet grandeur of Greek art. Devoting 8 years to the study of classical antiquity in Rome, Winckelmann synthesized his findings in the History of Ancient Art, a groundbreaking text that articulated the historical and aesthetic trajectory of ancient art. His philosophy championed truthfulness in both artistic morality and form and sparked a cultural awakening that reached far beyond Italy's borders. In 1784, French painter Jacques-Louis David Dauve unveiled the Oath of the Horatii, a powerful composition depicting the 3 Horatii brothers swearing before their father to defend Rome at the founding of the Republic, a visual embodiment of ideas promoted by Winckelmann. Through its balanced composition, the painting contrasts the resolute masculinity of heroic warriors with the grief-stricken mourning women. David's precise brushwork and restrained palette emphasized the solemn theme of patriotic sacrifice. When exhibited at the Paris Salon in 1785, the work was hailed as the masterpiece of the century. During the Enlightenment of the 18th century, several artistic styles, Baroque, Rococo, Neoclassicism, vied for cultural prominence. Neoclassicism aligned closely with Enlightenment ideals of reason, clarity, and morality. Intellectuals championed logic and simplicity, while expressing nostalgia for the balanced aesthetics of ancient Greece and Rome. In this way, Neoclassicism emerged as the visual expression of Enlightenment principles. Beyond the rediscovery of Pompeii, other significant archaeological finds also influenced generations of artists. On April 8, 1820, on the Aegean island of Melos, a farmer named Yorgos Kentratas and his son unearthed a marble statue of Venus measuring approximately 204 centimeters, carved from exquisite Parian marble. In Greek mythology, she is known as Aphrodite. The statue stands with her left foot stepping forward and the body swayed shifted to the right. Creating a subtle contrapposto, the lower drapery was carved separately. Her pose exudes elegance, and her distant gaze conveys a gentle, classical serenity. At the time, the French consul had been instructed to acquire any ancient artworks discovered. Acting Consul Louis Brest acted swiftly upon hearing of the statue's unearthing. He alerted both the French envoy in Constantinople and higher authorities. Just as a Turkish vessel prepared to transport the Venus abroad, the French warship Chevrette intercepted the statue, securing it for France. It was ultimately presented to King Louis XVIII, who transferred it to the Louvre Museum. The Venus de Milo would later be exhibited internationally. Before its public unveiling, Jacques-Louis David requested permission to create a replica of the sculpture. However, following Napoleon's downfall, David was exiled, and the task fell to his student François-Édouard Picot, who completed the commission. Despite the loss of her arms, the Venus de Milo retains an unparalleled aura of dignity and idealized beauty. Numerous restoration proposals were considered, yet none succeeded in fully recapturing the statue's original harmony or symbolic perfection. In 1863, Charles Champezot, French vice-consul at Adrianople, discovered another remarkable sculpture behind the ruins of a sanctuary on the island of Samothrace. The Winged Victory of Samothrace? Originally placed atop a naval monument in the island's theater complex, the statue was later transported to the Louvre. Known as Nike in Greek mythology, this goddess of victory is associated with triumph at sea. Though her head and arms are missing, the forward motion of her body, billowing drapery, and widespread wings embody both dramatic energy and divine majesty. The strong diagonals and spatial interaction with the imagined sea breeze infuse the work with expressive dynamism. The fluidity of movement contrasts with the statue's still and monumental presence. Since antiquity, the highest purpose of art has been to glorify the divine. Early artworks praised the greatness of the gods and embodied ideals of goodness and beauty. The Winged Victory is a sublime example of ancient artistic mastery, yet later generations, awestruck by technical brilliance, often overlooked its deeper spiritual symbolism, a reverent celebration of divine light and transcendence. The influence of ancient ruins extended well into the Romantic period. Russian painter Karl Pavlovich Brylov, who studied in Italy, captured the catastrophic finale of Pompeii in his monumental canvas. The last day of Pompeii, Brylov even painted himself into the scene, holding his paintbox in the background, a subtle allegory, perhaps alluding to Russia's own historical transformations. By the late 19th century, amid political upheaval and growing individualism, art began to drift towards subjectivity and emotional intensity. Neoclassicism, once the dominant aesthetic force, gradually receded into the realm of academic tradition.